Section 1, Video 5. Now we're going to look at these shapes in a graph like this and see how they relate to each other, because we did say that some shapes share properties of other things. So if you start at the top, it is very general. All you're doing is saying that you have a shape with four sides. It's like saying out in the parking lot we have cars with four wheels. Very general, no specific things. And what these arrows represent is that you take that shape and you add properties. So if we follow the blue arrow, we're saying that a parallelogram is a quadrilateral, but it has certain qualities that are added to it. And we've talked about these properties. A parallelogram has opposite sides equal length, opposite sides are parallel, and so on. Now if you take that parallelogram, which is a quadrilateral but has those qualities, and you give it more qualities, so down here you can say, well, we're going to take that same idea, but now we're going to add right angles. Well, now it's not just a parallelogram, it is one, but now it's even more than that. It's called a rectangle. And if you go further and say we're not only just going to give it four right angles, we're going to make all sides equal length, now you have a square. So a square is a quadrilateral, but it has many more properties to it. And a rhombus is just another path. So if you have a parallelogram and say, well, I'm going to go right to the idea of having all four sides equal length, that's a rhombus. But there's nothing in it saying that you have right angles. And that's what makes a square interesting, because a square is a rhombus. It has the character qualities of a rhombus, but it has four right angles and four equal sides. So it has a lot of qualities to it. And then you have a quadrilateral that could go into a kite, which means, well, I'm just going to have two pair of consecutive equal sides. And that makes it a kite, not a parallelogram, but it has those qualities which makes it a kite. And then you have, well, if I take that kite and I create right angles in two of those spaces, two of those angles, now I've created a right kite. So again, more qualities, more characteristics. So again, if we say, well, take that quadrilateral and just do one pair of parallel sides, well, now it's called a trapezoid. But if you take the trapezoid and make a right angle with one of the one of the leg or base sides, you have a right angle. Now it's called a right trapezoid. Or if you take that trapezoid and then make the base, the legs here, the same length, now it becomes an isosceles trapezoid. So you're adding characteristics as you go down the graph. And we're going to use this graph to help us answer questions, well, when is a square a parallelogram, or a parallelogram a square? Is it ever happened? We're going to use words like sometimes, always, and never. And this graph will help us decide those things.